Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, by Hashem, Barakah Kodash, Barakathom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to you Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with 2nd Esdras chapter 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, which the true men of the Lord are doing, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, by keeping their eyes in the news and reading these scriptures and filtering the news through these scriptures. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the Highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, which are happening damn near daily globally, you've had about 1,000 earthquakes in California already, and uproars of the people in the world also happening with the yellow vest protests in France, which have been going on since November, and it's gotten so bad over there that French policemen are starting to commit suicide, and also protests going on in Hong Kong with no end in sight. With each passing day, the situation over there is deteriorating more and more. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, and if you have the eyes to see, you can clearly see that this end is manifesting right before you. Pestilences such as flesh-eating bacteria along the southern and eastern coast of the United States, reports of typhus and typhoid in Los Angeles, Ebola making a comeback in the Congo, African swine flu over in China killing millions of pigs, famines such as some Walmart stores announcing that they're having a food shortage, as well as news reports of an impending global food shortage, and kingdom against kingdom such as the U.S. and China in that trade war, the U.S. and Israel against Iran, Russia against the U.S., you name it. So with this all being the case, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true children of Israel should be doing whatever you can to get back into the good graces of your power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, so you could possibly be of that elect number, the 144,000 and rest of the righteous 1/3, and have that protective hedge over you so you'll be saved from these coming terrible times of Jacob's trouble. But in this video, I'm going to be dealing with the uproars of the people in the world. Now I'm going to go to my first article on ZeroHedge.com titled Tiananmen Square 2.0. Beijing warns Hong Kong protesters will be punished. Military intervention possible. And this is just a prelude of what's to come to the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great. As the situation in Hong Kong continues to deteriorate, Beijing has issued a warning that protesters would soon be punished for criminal acts, and has refused to rule out military force to quell ongoing anti-government demonstrations, according to the Telegraph. Salakia. According to a spokesman for the Beijing-controlled Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, demonstrators are causing Hong Kong to slide into a dangerous abyss, adding, as for their punishment, it's only a matter of time. The Chinese government will never allow any acts that challenge national unity, sovereignty, or security, he said, sternly reminding residents that the People's Liberation Army was a strong and reliable force that defends every inch of its territory. In a jab at protesters, Mr. Yang referred to their main slogan, Reclaim Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times, by reminding them Hong Kong was a part of China, saying, I want to ask those people shouting this, what of Hong Kong do you want to reclaim? Where exactly do you want to reclaim Hong Kong to? Meanwhile, over 12,000 Shenzhen police officers conducted a publicly broadcasted crowd control drill, offering protesters a taste of what's to come. Jump down to right here. Police on Monday fired over 800 rounds of tear gas, 140 rubber bullets, and 20 sponge rounds, according to official figures, while 148 people were arrested between the ages of 13 and 63. Monday represented a significant escalation of violence. Until then, police had fired 1,000 rounds of tear gas, 150 of sponge grenades, and 160 rounds of rubber bullets in 2 months of protests. Hong Kong authorities, meanwhile, have refused to meet any of the protesters' demands after what began as a protest against an extradition bill and has expanded into a general anti-government protest, which is also a part of scriptures that there would be people turning against their governments in the last days. This is 2 Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, a race war, but also a civil war, where people of different ideologies will be fighting each other, as well as the average Joe fighting against their governments, and swords in their hands. Over there in France, you have some protesters fighting with bats and pipes, and I even saw one with a buzzsaw. But once this chaos reaches the shores of the United States of America, these people are going to be fighting with those modern-day swords, that gun. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. What do we just read? Hong Kong authorities, those kings and princes, meanwhile, have refused to meet any of the protesters' demands after what began as a protest against an extradition bill and has expanded into a general anti-government protest. They shall regard neither their kings nor princes. And with China talking about getting involved militarily, that would bring in a state of martial law. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, a state of martial law, where you're going to have the right identification and be loyal to the powers that be to move around. And we're also seeing signs of martial law already starting over in Hong Kong. What did it say here? Meanwhile, over 12,000 Shenzhen police officers conducted a publicly broadcasted crowd control drill, offering protesters a taste of what's to come. And they shall desire to go into a city, but shall not be able. That's it with this article, but I'm going to go to my second article, also on ZeroHedge.com, titled, Chinese Army Releases Riot Control Video Showing Soldiers Shooting Hong Kong Protesters. The Chinese aren't taking these protests lightly. Just on the heels of new reports of a significant buildup of Chinese security forces on Hong Kong's border, with the White House monitoring what an admin official described as a congregation of Chinese forces outside the city, the chief of the Chinese military garrison in Hong Kong has warned that the army stands ready to protect Chinese sovereignty. A military crackdown could be imminent, as we warned earlier, against the massive anti-Beijing protests which have gripped Hong Kong over the past month and which last week escalated to vandal attacks on the central government's liaison office in the semi-autonomous city. They shall regard neither their kings nor princes, as the New York Times reported. Further upping the ante, new threatening footage showing an emergency response drill involving Chinese troops taking positions around the city was unveiled by the military on Wednesday at an event honoring the People's Liberation Army's Hong Kong garrison. The footage was described as a promotional video showing various activities and stating that troops stationed in the city were able to protect its long-term stability. The PLA's Hong Kong garrison commander Shin Dao-Zhang firmly asserted that continuing unrest on the streets in Hong Kong would not be tolerated while playing the promo video, which included a scene of a soldier shouting in Cantonese during an anti-riot exercise, "All consequences or at your own risk. A man shall desire to go into a city, but shall not be able. Let's play this video. And while you're watching this, just imagine this being the streets of the United States of America. They shall desire to go into a city, but shall not be able. When a state of martial law is declared in the United States of America, expect to see foreign troops like the Chinese, as well as the Russians and NATO forces over here maintaining law and order. Because as it says in Joel chapter 2 verse 20, I shall remove far off from you the northern army, speaking of the United States military, all branches, and shall remove them into a land barren and desolate, the Middle East. Because besides being spread thin already in hundreds of bases across the planet, the majority of the U.S. military is going to be over there in the Middle East fighting World War III, that battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, that War of Armageddon. So they're going to have these foreign troops over here maintaining law and order, and best believe they're already over here. The elder brother Malcolm up in Chicago, whose page name is GMS Maccabean Spirit, did a video a couple of months ago talking about how a brother told him that he got a call from Chinese soldiers telling him that they were looking forward to killing niggers during a state of martial law. And also, if you do a little more digging, you can find videos on YouTube with reports of Russian troops already over here doing drills around Colorado. So for you Americans, but especially 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who refuse to come back to your power, you've got nothing good coming your way. This is Luke chapter 19. I'm going to read verse 43 to 44. For the days shall come upon thee, which are quickly coming upon us, that thine enemies, not just these Edomites or so-called white people, but these Moabites or so-called Chinese, among these other heathen nations, shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side, a state of martial law. A man shall desire to go into a city, but shall not be able. Verse 44, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee. The neighborhoods of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are going to be on lockdown, are going to become a killing zone for these heathen soldiers. They're going to put you down like dogs with three holes in your head like a bowling ball. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. when the majority of you Israelites had the liberty to hearken back under your power, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, you decided to scoff the men of the Lord instead, going out there on the highways and byways talking shit to them and trying to debunk them, as well as talking shit to them on the comment section of these videos. And for that, the Most High is going to visit you for your iniquity. You're going to know that death by pain, that pain to the nerve endings. This is 2 Esdras chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection, civil wars, race wars, a state of martial law upon those that fear the Lord, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. Those madmen being those Chinese troops, those Russian troops, those NATO troops, as well as mercenary forces, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. They're also going to kill your loved ones in front of you and rape your women, rape your men, as well as rape your children. Verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire, the elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the righteous 1/3, who will also have to go through this fire that the 2/3 are going through, but will come out on the other side. Verse 74, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. So to you sincere Akim out there, now's not the time to be getting weak in the faith. You should be fully assured in your faith in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, that He is and that He will get you through this if you diligently hearken unto Him and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. And even if some of you have to be martyrs in this truth, which some of us will be, just endure all things like a good soldier of Yahushai HaMashiach to the end, and you'll be one of the first ones on the chariot waiting for Yahushai to come and save the rest of the elect. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim out there were edified. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Bal, Kwam Yasharallah. Till next time, Shalom.